ain't gonna give in now. I ain't gonna live this now. I ain't gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their ring when I'm knocking them out when I'm back with the win. Cause I am just up on the journey. Know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. The next 12 months is going to be extremely, extremely rocky. Now, not only is it going to be extremely rocky, but it's going to change our lives as we know it. My name is Coach JV. I am the top health, mindset, crypto, and business coach in the world. Remember, what you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Now, warriors, this is not a fear tactic. This is not a fear tactic. These are facts, figures, numbers, logic. Unless we as human beings understand that we, you and I, are responsible for our own sovereignty, our own freedom, our own financial wealth, and spiritual wealth, we will always end up back in this cycle. But this is nothing new under the sun. So I spend 8 to 9 hours a day researching feverishly, deeply, connecting the dots, understanding where we are heading as human beings based on cycles. There is no past. There is no future. There is only the present moment that's happening right now. Now, our emotions within this present moment are the most important thing. Now, the way the subconscious mind works and how we develop our reality is through thoughts, which become beliefs, thoughts that become emotions, that become beliefs, that change our reticular activating system. And our reticular activating system gives us confirmation. Once it gives us confirmation, it develops conviction. So the thing that we're experiencing right now is the conviction that was created by the indoctrinated thoughts. So they made us think a certain way, which created emotions, okay, which created our belief systems, which gave us confirmation. Oh, they said this, see, this happened, which became our conviction. And that's why we live the reality that we live now. So if you don't take control of your thoughts, you will never take control of your emotions. Your belief systems will be manipulated by other people. And if they're manipulated by other people, your conviction is a false narrative that is not your truth. So we're all trying to protest and go out and fight and go after other people. That is not the answer. The answer comes from within. If anybody tells you they're the hero or they're here to save the world, they are a false teacher. There's nobody outside of you that can save you. You have all the power inside of you for greatness, warriors. Okay, you have all the power inside of you for greatness. So the things that are going to be most important is your community, who you're surrounded with. I'm telling you, next 12 months are going to be very, very rocky. Your community, very, very important. Your thoughts, what you're listening to, what you're seeing, what you're digesting. Very, very important. Well, we're going to dive into it. So what I'm going to show you guys is, instead of me just talking about it, I'm going to take you on a journey on how my brain works, bringing everything into this moment, what we consider past, future. I bring everything into present, and I walk myself through mentally how they take us on this journey, right? The beautiful thing about it is it's hidden in plain sight. They tell us everything that's happening. They show us everything that's happening. They literally don't hide this stuff from us. They say, here it comes. And then we sit back, look at the distractions, and then they can go back, whoever they are, and say, hey, listen, we said this was coming. We warned you. We told you. And they did. So I'm going to show you facts, figures, numbers, logic, and I'm going to tell you what's coming next. There's a massive recession coming, which is going to go into a depression, which is going to make the Great Depression look like child's play. Your parents, maybe, or maybe you, who's heading into retirement, who has a 401k, your whole life is about to change. And there's little things you can do to change your mindset, to change your investment strategies, to really protect your family. And guess what? This is where the most wealthiest people are made. But the key is right here. So first, we're going to listen to Bill Gates and him talking about a pandemic coming, right? 7 years ago. Now I'm just going to take you on a journey. Just follow along, clear out your mind right now. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what they're saying. And let's see what's going to happen next within our world. You guys ready? Here we go.
Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested a huge amount in nuclear deterrence, but we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces. We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there at that point. Okay, surveillance and data. Okay, so we're not ready. So what they're going to do is they're going to get us ready. Okay, so here we go. So we had a live simulation exercise to prepare the public, private leaders for a pandemic response. This was on 15th of October, 2019. Okay, the world has seen growing numbers of epidemic events accounting for 200 per year. Pandemics could cause an average annual economic loss of 0.7% in the global GDP. Event 201 exercise will bring together public and private leaders to inform multi-stakeholders cooperation for pandemic preparedness and response. Okay, this was in Geneva, Switzerland on the 15th of October, 2019. So Bill Gates was letting us know we're not prepared for a pandemic. Okay, we don't have the right data. We don't have the right surveillance. What are we moving into? I'm going to show you what we're moving into in just a moment. So they warned us what was coming. Well, by March 2020, what were we experiencing? We all got locked down into our houses. Our whole lives changed as we know it. We were put into massive amounts of fear. Our cortisol levels went through the roof. People gained weight. Domestic violence went through the roof. Opiate abuse shot through the roof. Suicide rate shot through the roof. We were stressed out beyond our wildest dreams. We went through this, and then all of a sudden, the narrative started to change pretty quickly. Then the World Economic Forum came out and said, prepare for this. So let's listen to this part.
Talking about the environment, Greta Thunberg versus Donald Trump, certainly a lot of headlines crossing from the mountain. But last time around in the crisis, we saw people didn't care so much about the environment when we were talking about large-scale job losses. This time seems different. Are you surprised about how strong the sustainability theme has been right through the pandemic?
No, I would see even a chance to accelerate, let's say, our transition into a green economy, because people probably recognize that we have to become more resilient. We have now the experience of one crisis, the environmental crisis, the climate crisis could be a much bigger one. So I see more awareness, but on the other hand, we have the big issue of unemployment, of low levels of employment. And I think we shouldn't see the two as contradictory objectives.
Okay, so he tells us the climate narrative, right? And there's some other pieces that I want you guys to listen to in this interview here. So let's just listen in.
I don't know how it will play out in November, but what we know is that we will end up with many more unemployed, and particularly also people in the gray economy, which are not counted for, who lose their jobs. So we will see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increased by the end of the year, because this crisis will be with us until we really have found a remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world. and how to prepare. It means to take the necessary action to create a fairer world, to see that we provide everybody with decent access to the health system, that we make sure that those people who are really left behind, and I'm not speaking only on national levels, I'm speaking also internationally. If I see now the tragedy in some of the emerging countries like South Africa, like some countries.
Okay, so he told us, get ready for an angrier world. We need to have, so Bill Gates told us to get ready for a pandemic. They put us into a pandemic, made us very, very angry, right? Problem, reaction, solution. Whoever creates a problem, creates the anger in the people, comes up with the solution. So what is the end of this? And I'm going to share this with him. Okay, remember, he told us to get ready for an angrier world that we're going to be focusing on. They're letting us know where we're going. We're going into a green narrative, right? That's where investing is going to start going. Okay, that's where all the money is going to flow to. Okay, so we had Bill Gates 7 years ago. We had the live simulation in 2019. Our lives got turned upside down in March 2020. These are all facts. You can look this up. This isn't conspiracy. This is a fact. These are facts, figures, numbers, logic. He tells us in 2020, so this is July, this is so March, April, May, June, July, 4 months later, to get ready for an angrier world. Well, now we're in 2022, all of a sudden around February 14th in California, the mask laws get lifted, New York, boom, boom, all of a sudden we forgot about the C word, right? We forgot about the C word. It's like, what the heck? I was in Disneyland a year ago, and it was like wild, 6 feet apart. People were mad dogging each other if they didn't have their mask on. And then now we went to Disneyland last week, and it's gone. Like, it just disappeared, right? But now we have a war narrative. We have a high inflation narrative. We have a recession looming, okay? So do you see what's happening? So he said, prepare for an angrier world. Now, here we are in June 7th, 2022. DHS issues National Terrorism Advisory System for, this is in America. Okay, now this isn't for some type of adversary outside of America. This is threats actors have recently mobilized to violence due to factors such as personal grievance, reactions to current events, and adherence to violent extremist ideologies, including radically or ethnically motivated anti-government, anti-authority, violent extremists. Foreign adversaries, including terrorism organizations and national state adversaries, also remain intent and exploiting the threat of environment to promote or inspire violence, sow discord, and undermine U.S. democratic institutions. The Department of Homeland Security continues to assess that the primary threat of mass casualties violence in the United States stems from lone offenders and small groups motivated by a range of ideological beliefs or personal grievances. He told us we're getting ready for an angrier world, because we locked them down for a pandemic. They're pissed. They're losing their jobs. They can't feed their families. Well, here we go. Jerome Powell also warned us in 2021. He told you exactly what they are doing. Listen to what he said. Okay, remember, they told us a pandemic was coming. They prepared for it. They locked us down. World Economic Forum, Davos, the richest people in the world get together to move our world into a new world, right? They tell us, the head of it says, get ready for an angrier world. The DHS now warns us of terrorist attacks in America. And then all of a sudden, the Roe versus Wade gets overturned. Not an opinion, but I'm saying now all of a sudden Americans are going against Americans. It's civil war now. And we have global. Ukraine and Russia is heating up. So we as Americans, we as humans, we as global humans are now experiencing something that most humans will never experience. Climate change narrative, war narrative, and economic narrative. Our world is changing. It is changing. You can't deny it. It is changing. Listen to what he says. He tells you, he warns you in 2021 what's coming.
We're not going back to the same economy. This will be a different economy. And one of the things we hear from companies is that they've spent a lot of time since the pandemic arrived looking at ways to.
One thing I want you to look at is look at his face. Look at how he looks pretty vibrant, but look at how stressed he is now because he knows what's coming in 2022. But just pay attention to their face, voice inflection, and confidence.
Have more effective technology and perhaps fewer people. So you're going to see some of that in these public-facing jobs. So there will be millions of people who have a hard time finding their way back into the workforce and recovering the lives that they had just a year ago. And, I think it would be appropriate for us to continue to support those people. The recovery, though, here remains uneven and incomplete. The burden is still falling.
So you heard him. He said we are coming back to a new economy, leveraged towards technology. And he has said he's worried about the middle class. So Klaus Schwab warned you we're coming back to an angrier economy, an angrier world. He warned you in April 2021 that he is worried about the middle class. And then boom, here it is. Here it is. Now here we are in 2022. The middle class is getting wiped out. They can't even put gas in their cars. They can't afford food. Rent prices went up 20 to 30%. Some people are having to combine their family's income to move in together. Now here it comes. Because the change in the world, Powell says Fed's plans to recommend CBDC to Congress. Now remember, the Federal Reserve is the most powerful entity in the United States and globally. They're not recommending, they're telling Congress that they're implementing the CBDC. Now, what is the CBDC going to be implemented for? Because of the workforce changing and because we don't need physical human beings to do things anymore. In the industrial age, we needed your hands to work. We needed you to put cars together. We needed you to fix roads. We needed you to do this stuff. We needed you to build restaurants and these fast food, all these places that we're building in the last, century or whatever, right? We don't need you anymore. We have robots that can work a lot faster than you. We have AI that can work a lot faster than you. So what happens is, as you replace humans with technology, you have to give them something to survive. So you implement a central bank digital currency, which is going to allow the money to move at the speed of light. As Klaus Schwab said, we're going to need to get healthcare to all people. We're going to have systems. Okay, let's go back here. We're going to have surveillance and data for healthcare. Right? We need surveillance. We need data. We need people to get healthcare. They're all speaking the same language, same exact language. It's a new world that is coming. Okay, so this was just on June 22nd. Oh, 2222. Okay, that's awesome. June 22nd, 2022. Now look at his face. Look at the difference. He's feeling the stress. Look at the difference, Warriors. That's 2022, 21. About a year later, look at the difference. He is stressed. He knows where we're going. Look at that. Look at fresh, full face. Boom. Head down, shoulders bowed down. He's feeling it, man. He knows something's coming. And listen, he's trying to warn us. Listen.
And I want to be clear from your comments publicly, your comments to this committee today. You say the economy is not at the point of a recession, correct?
I don't see the likelihood of a recession as particularly elevated right now. You should know that no one is very good at forecasting recessions very far out. No one's been able to do that regularly. So, but I would say that the U.S. economy for now is strong, and spending is strong. Consumers are in good shape. Businesses are in good shape. Clearly, financial conditions have tightened, and you're seeing growth slow from the very elevated levels of last year associated with the reopening. You're seeing the beginnings of job growth slowing to more sustainable levels, and there's risk in that. There's obviously risk in that. Monetary policy is famously a blunt tool, and there's risk that weaker outcomes are certainly possible, but they're not our intent.
He basically just danced around that. It's not our intent. It's possible. It's coming. So why did it boom when it opened back up? Think about that, Warriors. They pumped a shit load of money into the economy. Bunch of zombie companies are sitting there on the stock market. Bunch of zombie companies that got PPP loans, Better Business Bureau loans. All this money was pumped in the economy. Of course, when it opened back up, there's going to be a boom in the economy. Now that it's settling in, gas prices are going up. They have to raise interest rates to balance out the monetary system. We're fucked, Warriors. He knows it. He knows it. Look at that face. Let's go back to that. Look at that face. He knows it. He's like, man, I know what's coming. Recession, depression, anxiety, stress. So what do, Warriors? Here, mental preparation. You need to get prepared mentally. If you don't have your shit together and understanding how the subconscious mind works, we have tools now, warriors. In the 1900s, they didn't have these tools. They didn't have YouTube. They didn't have TikTok. They didn't have Instagram. There's so many side hustles you can create right now. I built $1 million company off of TikTok. I'm about to build another $1 million company off of TikTok. I'm sharing this stuff. I don't care if you guys get pissed or if it sounds egotistical, warriors. I'm telling you, the blueprint is in my link in my bio on my social media. I give you the blueprint on how I did it. I've been divinely directed, divinely guided to this, warriors. It's because I'm researching, I'm understanding that I am already free. People that go through my 120-day challenge, I'll put it in the comments, the click to Warrior Academy. We prepare you for this recession. Mentally, we prepare you with the tools. Financially, we prepare you with the ecosystem of people. That's the key. Who are you around? What are you doing on a daily basis with your activities to reprogram your subconscious mind? How is your health, right? How is your health? And what are you doing financially, warriors? This is the greatest time in human history. I'll put the Warrior Academy in the comments down below pinned. I love you guys. I appreciate you. It's going to heat up, warriors, for me. Not a scare tactic. These are facts, figures, numbers, logic. You're already free. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.